Oral arguments were heard in today's Supreme Court hearing of Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health Organization. Abortion activists are very concerned. On Monday, Democrat Senator Jeanne Shaheen predicted there would be a, quote, revolution if the high court overturned its landmark Roe v. Wade decision, which would hand the issue of abortion back to the states. Republicans have long pushed for Roe versus Wade to be overturned, with nearly 230 GOP lawmakers calling on the high court to repeal it just over the summer. Host of the Liz Wheeler Show, Liz Wheeler joins us now to share her analysis. Liz, good to see you.
Buck, thanks so much for having me. It's great to be here.
So what was your primary takeaway? I mean, I spent the morning listening to these oral arguments, taking notes, drinking my coffee, trying to come up with where I think this is all heading. What do you think?
I was actually a little bit surprised with how the arguments went at the Supreme Court today. I will admit that I went into this a little bit cynical. I think on my show yesterday, I predicted that the court would not overturn Roe v. Wade. And now I feel, I also said I hope I'm wrong, but now I feel a little bit less sure of my yesterday analysis because I was shocked at how weak the arguments from the pro-abort were in front of these 9 justices today. The crux of their argument was essentially twofold. One, that Roe is some sort of super precedent that can't be overturned. I think it was Alito that actually asked, can a ruling from a previous Supreme Court be overturned just on the basis that it's egregiously wrong? And these pro-aborts that were arguing in favor of Roe said no, that even if a ruling is egregiously wrong, it's precedent and it can't be overturned. We know, Buck, that that's faulty legal analysis. Just think of Plessy versus Ferguson. That upheld racial segregation in the United States. It was precedent for 60 years, almost 60 years, until it was overturned by Brown versus Board of Education. That was the first argument. And the second argument from the left was an unscientific argument that that abortion is about the woman's body only, about women's bodily autonomy and women's choice. And we know that that's not scientifically true. Abortion impacts 2 bodies, the body of the woman and the body of the baby, and that's the competing interest here that the court decides. So I thought the arguments from the left were actually shockingly weak.
Justice Sotomayor pressed the Mississippi Solicitor General on how, in her view, clearly Sotomayor's, this is just a religious issue. Play that one.
How is your interest anything but a religious view? The issue of when life begins has been hotly debated by philosophers since the beginning of time. It's still debated in religions. So when you say this is the only right that takes away from the state the ability to protect the life, that's a religious view, isn't it? Because it assumes that a fetus is life at when? You're not drawing here. When do you suggest we begin that life?
What do you say?
Well, I say, of course, it's a religious issue, just like, whether or not we're allowed to murder someone or assault someone or rape someone is fundamentally a religious issue. All matters of right and wrong, all matters of morality are fundamentally philosophical issues. And philosophy, the idea of objective truth is rooted in our religious beliefs. It's rooted, as a Christian, I believe it's rooted in what was taught to us by Jesus Christ. You can't get away from that. Sotomayor is using this. She knows what she's doing, by the way. This is a false argument. She's using this just to try to distract from the fact that abortion ends the life of an innocent human child, because even science says life begins at the moment of conception, the moment a sperm fuses with an egg, and that therefore it's wrong morally, ethically, and legally to end the life of that child. It doesn't matter if it's also a religious issue. Every issue of right and wrong is a religious issue. But what matters at the Supreme Court is whether the Constitution includes a right to abortion, and it certainly does not.